England got its first glimpse of the banana when herbalist, botanist and merchant Thomas Johnson displayed a bunch in his shop in Holborn in the City of London on the 10th of April 1633. His single stem of bananas came from the recently colonized island of Bermuda. Ships make money at sea when they are carrying cargo, whether bananas or anything else, but when they are in port they are costing money to their owners. Therefore ports and terminals need to be efficient to minimize time and get the ship back on its journey as soon as possible. Stevedores were once organizers of large-scale dock labor, dockers who would move the cargo often manually in and out of the ship's holds by the sweat of their brow. This rare colour film brings to light developments in the banana trade at Southampton Docks. The Elders and Fyffes banana trade flourished at berths 24 and 25 from the 1930s. Known as just Fyffes, two of their popular banana boats were the Gofito and her sister ship, the Camito, featured in this film, operated on what was also a popular passenger service around 1960 from England to the West Indies. They provided a regular fortnightly service sailing from the Southampton Empress Dock on a 4-week voyage. Their schedule was Southampton to Barbados and Trinidad, as well as Jamaica and the port of Bowden, where bananas would be loaded during the cool of the night.
Just over 4,000 miles away, we find a vivid spectacle of unparalleled loveliness, the sun-drenched islands of the West Indies. And in Jamaica, we take a look at life on one of the island's most fascinating settings, the banana plantation. Each banana plant, and it's a herbaceous plant, not a tree, bears only one single stem of bananas. On emerging from the bud, the tiny bananas turn downwards, but as they grow, they turn outwards and up towards the sun. Although there is only one stem or bunch of the fruit on a plant, this is made up of anything from 6 to 12 clusters, or hands, each with 12 to 23 fingers. It's quite a lot of bananas. It's interesting to note that even when the fruit is eaten in the tropics, it is not allowed to ripen on the plant, being cut down green and ripened afterwards. And in the holds of banana boats like the Tss Camito, controlled temperatures ensure they arrive in England 10 days later, still a bright green in colour, to be ripened later. And so, every 5 to 6 weeks, back in England, the Camille loads approximately 10 million bananas, a tribute to the men who've worked so hard to reap nature's bounty.
When they arrived at Southampton, the ships docked at the eastern docks, where they were unloaded by stevedores as shown in the film. There are many stories of unwelcome spiders arriving with the cargo. Sometimes a box would be broken and the dockers would share the contents of bananas or take them home to their families. In the film, the captain of the Camito is seen with his furrowed brow as the stevedores unload his ship directly into the waiting railway carriages. The transport of bananas from the docks to the distribution warehouses used to provide considerable traffic for the railways. The arrival would often result in the running of a number of specially fitted freight trains to distribute the fruit around the country. Insulated wagons were used to ensure that the bunches were not exposed to extremes of temperature during the journey, some also being steam heated. The banana train is seen leaving the Empress Dock before moving on to the massive Fyffes warehouse in Essex, where they would be stored and ripened before they were ready for retail.
After dealing that unusual hand of aces, let's play a different colour with a hand of bananas. Some of the 2,500 million that are imported every year. For this monkey's paradise is a warehouse in Essex, where newly arrived green bananas turn yellow in the 4 to 5 day ripening process before going to the shops. Even when they are to be eaten in the tropics, bananas are never allowed to ripen on the plant, because it has been found that only by this artificial ripening process can the best flavour be developed. Having travelled to their destinations in specially cooled holds, the hands, or clusters, each with from 12 to 18 bananas or fingers, are now hung alternately up and down in gas-heated ovens at a controlled temperature and humidity. Although it was not until the end of the 19th century that bananas began to find their way to this country, the fruit was found in India in 327 BC by the armies of Alexander the Great. And strangely enough, although today they're often associated with monkeys, there's an ancient legend that describes them as the fruit of the wise men. This spraying process, by the way, is carried out to increase the humidity in the room. In their green state, the banana contains a large percentage of starch, which changes to fruit sugar as it ripens. Then, an expert can tell merely by sight and a gentle touch the condition of the fruit. Incidentally, to save any unnecessary tummy aches, remember they're not fully ripe and ready for eating until brown spots have appeared on the skin. Finally, the hands are cut from the stalk, weighed and packed. A job for mechanization these days, for an average of 1 banana per man, woman and child is eaten every week. Still, what about the good old days when we could all go down the Strand hand in hand and have a banana?
The Fyffes terminal at the Eastern Docks was rebuilt and re-equipped in the 1960s, and passenger facilities were then transferred to berths 26 and 27, where a small waiting hall was provided to accommodate travellers to and from the West Indies. However, following the demise of the banana trade, the berths were redeveloped as the Southampton Oceanography Centre, which opened in April 1996. But in 2020, Fyffes bananas returned home again, being imported through Southampton Container Port. The main customer on the service is still Fyffes, which carries bananas not from the Windward Islands, but Central America, and in particular from Ecuador and Colombia. It wasn't until 1956 that the first purpose-built container ship carried cargo from port to port. This first ship carried 58 containers. Today, the largest can carry around 10,000, and Southampton is the UK's only deep water port on the south coast capable of servicing the largest container vessels. The terminal's direct daily rail connections to key inland distribution hubs and the fast truck turnaround times are important considerations for customers who need to reduce lead times and increase the freshness and shelf life of perishable produce by getting them to stores faster. Today's stevedoring companies and their skilled personnel operate a selection of expensive and sophisticated cargo handling equipment in the port. The ground handling equipment such as the straddle carriers or low loaders are expensive, and a single container crane that spans the ships can be worth millions, while today nobody talks about dockers, rather experts in the handling of mechanical equipment.